Hey guys, so I rewatched The Incredible Hulk. It had been a long while since I've watched this film. I have thoughts and opinions, and I know this is going to sound very biased because of the Hulk that we know in the main part of the MCU. This was not originally an MCU. Well, it was, but it kind of flopped. Um, it is the origin story of Hulk in a little bit. And it's definitely the origin story of Blonsky. Blonsky does end up coming back throughout the MCU. Makes more sense when you watch She-Hulk. Anyway, um, and like having watched She-Hulk and then going back to this, I was like, why do I know that name? And then it hit me. Um, it was action packed. It was interesting. Um, it doesn't explain the entirety of Hulk other than him being like a military project. Um, Super Serum, which, yeah. Um, I think it would have been better had they kept the same actor, and kept the love interest of Dr. Ross, played by Liv Tyler, than having um, Mark Ruffalo, who, by the way, I find a much better Hulk, in my opinion, much more relatable, much more likable. Um, to me, like when you switch actors in the middle of like a series or um, franchise, it makes it awkward, right? Because then like even though they're the same character, they give a different kind of performance, and you may not like them, you may like them, whatever it may be, but and I'm not saying this actor wasn't bad. I don't even remember who played him, but it just felt like it needs to be fluid. That's my personal take. Um, but I think this movie is important in the timeline because of the origin story of both Hulk and Blonsky, and it makes sense of it just makes sense, right? So, with that being said, let's go on to the Easter eggs, and I will see you guys later. The Incredible Hulk. So, as we stated before, this is not the same as the same person playing Bruce Banner. Here we have specks of Stark Industries. Again, this will be prevalent because of Iron Man and the history of Howard Stark, as well as his son Tony, who becomes Iron Man, selling their technology and weapons to the military. Here we have an Easter egg of Grover from Sesame Street. If you know the history of the Incredible Hulk, his blood is very potent, and there was an accident at the bottling factory, and they missed that one of these bottles got it, so we're going to see a situation in a minute. So in this encrypted messaging board, Mr. Green, or is the Hulk, aka Bruce Banner, and Mr. Blue is another scientist who is trying to help him figure out a cure. Then we skip to Arlington, Virginia, where we have the military get together to go after Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, and take him down. Here we have a cameo from Stan Lee, the creator of the MCU, but he is also the victim of that bottle where the Hulk accidentally spilled his blood. And he got gamma radiation poisoning. So on the team is Blonsky and Ross. Blonsky wants to go after Banner, not realizing that Banner is the Hulk. But Ross does because he's the reason the Hulk even exists. And that's where he begins explaining to Blonsky in World War II, the super soldier program began, and as we know, Captain America was invented. Now, Culver University is where the gamma radiation accident happened that created the Hulk originally under I think it's Captain Ross's orders. Bruce Banner was working for him, creating a new serum. So Bruce realized that the only person that can really help him besides Mr. Blue is Elizabeth Ross, who happens to be Captain's daughter. And this is going to be important. If this Easter egg wasn't obvious, it's Stan Lee's, as in Stan Lee, the creator. And here we have Lou Ferrigno. I don't know if I said his name right. He played the original Hulk in both the TV show and the older movies. So great Easter egg there. And here we have Hulk in full Hulk form, and he took out the military, including Blonsky, who also had the super serum. Now, in this scene, we see Blonsky is alive. I thought he was going to turn into Red Hulk for a second, but I was wrong, and we'll see that he becomes Abominable, which also makes an appearance in She-Hulk later in the MCU timeline. While Dr. Banner is still on the run with his girlfriend, Dr. Ross, we see that this is how he gets the purple pants. It is because of Dr. Ross, and it becomes his signature look. And then his name, Hulk, comes from two of the students that witnessed the attack, the attack, of Hulk on the military at Culver University. So they're still tracking Bruce Banner after the attack, and they find out that he was having communications with someone going by the name Mr. Blue. Well, they find out that in the chat log it is actually Samuel Stearns, and this is how they track him down. They also mention SHIELD because it was a part of, or SHIELD is a part of the government that worked with the super soldier serum and works with the Avengers. No, because of the attack and because they're going for Mr. Stern, or Dr. Stern, I should say, they have to find a way to get to New York, and of course roads are blocked, so they take a boat, and it's Manhattan. It's surrounded by water, right? So here is a beautiful skyline of Manhattan with the Statue of Liberty. So they find Dr. Stearns, and he has this whole setup. And first of all, the lights form two hidden Mickeys, so that's kind of cool. But he also mentions test subjects, and this is where it gets tricky. The test subjects, well, he duplicated Bruce Banner's blood sample, and this became a huge problem. So what they did was they were able to undo the Hulk for a minute, but in the meantime, Blonsky gets his hands on Dr. Stern while Dr. Ross and Bruce Banner were arrested by the military. And Blonsky, who stayed behind, got more serum. Not only did he get a second dose with the military super serum formula, he got a dose with Hulk's blood in it, and it created Abominable. And here he is. So anyway, the fight happens. Hulk retires to British Columbia, not to be seen again for a while because he didn't want to hurt people. This plays into Bruce Banner, that's played by Mark Ruffalo's character, which I think was a good transition. But it ends with this little Easter egg. Tony Stark talking to Captain Ross and hinting at the Iron Man suit. Hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like always, I'm gonna ask very nicely if you guys wouldn't mind liking, subscribing if you haven't already. Press that bell button so you'll get notified every time I post. And why don't you guys comment? Comment which scene was your favorite. Let's do that.